Cross-site scripting (XSS). Cross-site scripting is a security vulnerability in web applications where attackers inject malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. Purpose of cross-site scripting attacks: steal sensitive information, example cookies, session data, impersonate users or perform unauthorized actions, deface websites or deliver malicious payloads. Why cross-site scripting is dangerous: user impact, exposure of sensitive data like login credentials, unintended actions performed on behalf of users, example unauthorized transactions, business impact, loss of user trust and reputation damage, legal or regulatory consequences for breaches. Types of cross-site scripting attacks: stored persistent cross-site scripting. The malicious script is saved on the server and delivered to multiple users. Example, a malicious comment on a blog that executes whenever someone views the page. Reflected cross-site scripting. The malicious script is embedded in a URL or input field and executes when the victim interacts with it. Example, a phishing email containing a link with an embedded script. DOM-based cross-site scripting. The attack is executed within the browser by manipulating the DOM document object model. Example, an insecure client-side JavaScript that directly processes untrusted input. How cross-site scripting works: injection. The attacker inserts malicious scripts into input fields, URLs, or other unvalidated data sources. Execution. The browser executes the script as part of the web page. Result. The attacker gains access to sensitive data or manipulates the application on the victim's behalf. An in-depth example of how cross-site scripting works. 1. Injection. What happens? The attacker identifies a vulnerable input point in a web application, example a comment box, search field, or URL parameter. They inject malicious JavaScript code into these input fields. Example, a comment box on a blog site is improperly secured. The attacker posts a comment such as the one on the right. If the website does not sanitize or validate inputs, the script gets stored on the server or reflected back to other users. 2. Execution. What happens? The injected script is executed by the victim's browser when they visit the compromised web page. The browser trusts the content from the web server and executes the malicious script as though it was legitimate. Example, when a user loads the blog page with a malicious comment, the script tag is interpreted by the browser. Actions could include popping up an alert, sending cookies or session tokens to the attacker, redirecting the user to a phishing site. Right is an example of code that sends stolen cookies to an attacker-controlled site. 3. Result. What happens? The attacker exploits the executed script to achieve their goal. Results depend on the attacker's intent, such as data theft, sensitive information like cookies or local storage data is stolen. Session hijacking. The attacker uses the stolen session token to impersonate the victim. Unauthorized actions. For example, the script might make a fake transfer request to a banking application. Defacement. The malicious script alters the appearance of the web page, displaying inappropriate or misleading content. Example, an online banking app without proper cross-site scripting protection. A reflected cross-site scripting attack might craft a URL such as the one on the right. If clicked, the victim unknowingly triggers a script to steal the banking session cookie. Real-life example of cross-site scripting attacks: social media worms. Malicious scripts spread rapidly across social networks. Example, the 2005 MySpace cross-site scripting worm that infected over 1 million users in less than 24 hours. E-commerce exploits: stealing customer payment details through injection scripts on checkout pages. Defacement attacks: injecting scripts to alter the appearance of websites and display unauthorized content. How to prevent cross-site scripting attacks: input validation. Verify and sanitize user input to block malicious scripts. Example, stripped HTML tags from user inputs. Output encoding. Encode user inputs when displaying them on the web page. Example, use libraries like OAuth ES API to encode output safely. Use content security policy (CSP). Restrict the sources from which scripts can be loaded. Example, block inline scripts using CSP headers. Escape special characters. Replace characters like the ones below with their encoded counterparts. Example, convert script to output below. Update and patch. Regularly update libraries, frameworks, and software to fix vulnerabilities. Tools to detect cross-site scripting. Warp Sheet, a popular tool for penetration testing and vulnerability scanning. OWASP ZAP, Z-Attack Proxy, an open-source tool to find cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. Web Application Firewalls, WAF, blocks malicious requests before they reach the application. Browser extensions, tools like XSS Me for testing client-side vulnerabilities. The role of developers in preventing cross-site scripting: write secure code by validating inputs and outputs. Avoid unsafe practices like dynamically generating HTML from untrusted sources. Use security-focused libraries and frameworks. Perform regular security testing during the development cycle. Educate teams on common vulnerabilities and best practices. Key takeaways: cross-site scripting is a major threat to web applications. Understanding the types of mechanics for cross-site scripting is crucial to mitigation. Prevention requires a mix of secure coding practices, tools, and ongoing vigilance. Thanks for watching.